Follow me.
Nice place you got here.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Sun was here, so I feel alert.
So, back on the road, big tour.
Yes, tour starting in the autumn, but not on the road actually. We're going to try and do it all on the railways.
All by train?
Yeah, so I might not turn up as a venue, so I'll be hideously late on a very bad temper. No, I love going on the trains. That's a real passion of mine. So I'm going to try and do it all by railway.
That's great to see you.
You too.
I'm going to see if I can get an impression a minute.
Okay, we'll see how we go.
Bill
How's that? One so far, Frank Skinner, all right?
I was going to say Bill Bailey managed to laugh a minute, so the pressure is on. And if you want to do more than one a minute,
Yeah.
feel free.
All right, I will. Yeah, Parkinson too. That means I don't have to do one for the next minute, doesn't it?
Do you want to count down?
4, 3, 2, 1, and they're off. Away first time.
How many impressions can you do?
253.
And when
I don't know.
when did you first realise that you could impersonate people?
When I was very young, I used to watch Dad's Army, and there was a character in Dad's Army called, I actually can't remember the character's name, but the actor was called Toughlin Thomas, and he used to say, Captain Mainwaring, and he had these big teeth, and I used to do him and make my mum laugh, and I thought, oh, that's interesting, I'll do some more.
Who's been the hardest person to take off?
I think probably John Le Mesurier. I'm in the Dad's Army thing now, but yeah, no, because I keep going to 80 years old, you see, as you just saw there. No, oh, he has to be awfully nice, you see. He's the hardest one not to do. I think I sound like him normally, and actually he's the hardest one for me not to do.
Who have you most enjoyed doing?
Most enjoyed doing? Probably Dod Carton. I love doing Dod, and people seem to respond to it, you see. I can't stop myself sometimes, it's the eyes.
And who are you following at the moment?
At the moment, a lot of football people. I just noticed the other day that Mick McCarthy, obviously Wolves back in Premier League, and I suddenly thought the other day, he always looks surprised, doesn't he, Mick? No matter what he does, it's like he doesn't realise that, is that football? Is that what? What's that? A camera? What are you doing? Filming me? Why? I'm the manager. What are you talking about?
How about Fabio Capello?
Well, yes, I could do him, but to me, it always sounds like he's in the middle of the visit to the bathroom, shall we say. Happy.
How do you study these people? Do you watch hours and hours of footage?
No, it just goes in. I don't know how it happens.
What about
I studied it for ages.
You had me. What about American film stars?
American film stars, I've known a few, but then again, too few to mention. No, he started off doing Woody Allen. He was one of my favourites, and you have to be very careful though, because you think they're big stars, but you actually get more capital from doing somebody, like Ronan Keating, who people just seem to know, and they laugh at that 'cause he's got a funny voice and that, Well, I say funny, I don't mean that Ronan, different, unusual.
We're doing well more than one a minute.
Excellent.
I've heard you do Nicolas Cage before. See, I'm setting you up.
Yeah, I have done Nicolas Cage, and he's one of my favourite movie stars, in fact. In fact, I think sometimes that when I did him, the look was quite good, and I had this idea that maybe he'd ring up and say, we need a double, will you do it for me?
But he just does pulls his own face off and sticks it on someone else.
Have you watched any tennis this year?
Yeah, I have watched tennis. I was a big fan of Andy Murray, obviously not just as a tennis player, but the way he handled interviews. I just thought it was great. Gary Richardson would always say stuff to him like, Andy Murray, what does Andy Murray do after Andy Murray's played tennis? Well, I don't know. Why didn't you ask Andy Murray?
You steered a bit clearer of politicians. You haven't done so many of them.
No, I think probably because I did so many on Spitting Image years ago that I just had my absolute fill. And I used to do Paddy Ashdown on Spitting Image, which was great. And I often did him talking to John Major, so you were doing two voices, and Paddy would say, hello. John would say, hello, Paddy. Hello, John, how are you? I'm fine. I think John Smith's just come in the room. Yes, you're sorry, I have. And you'd be doing all three voices in one.
How about
sketch.
Gordon Brown?
Gordon Brown, I tried to do a little bit, but it's like Rory does all those. And my audience, actually, the audience on the stand-up circuit, don't really respond to politicians.
Now, you do some dramatic acting as well. You were in Bleak House, and you've done a bit of Shakespeare.
Yes, I've done 2 Shakespeare plays now. I did Measure for Measure recently, and before that I did Merry Wives the musical alongside the wonderful Simon Callow, who was absolutely marvellous to work with. We did a couple of scenes, and it was always a very vibrant experience with Simon acting, actually, vibrant.
Which Shakespearean character has left the biggest impression on you?
Which character? I think probably I once saw Alan Rickman playing Jaques in As You Like It, and I think that performance character has stayed with me forever.
This might throw you a bit, but how do you think William Shakespeare would sound like?
He'd probably sound, I think he was a woman, wasn't he? That's the latest theory. He'd probably sound a bit like Joe Brand, and I think that would be quite fun if he did. What light from yonder window breaks? I don't know, I can't see in the darkness.
Tell me a little bit about your passion for the environment, because you feel very strongly about that, don't you?
Yes, I misread your clock there. I thought we were up, and I was thinking, please don't let me end on that Joe Brand line, because that was rubbish. So let's end on something really funny about the environment. Yes, it is, and I do everything I can to reduce my carbon footprint. I don't wear shoes made of carbon, for a start. But
do you fly a lot?
No, I don't. I haven't flown for 2 years, actually. But the whole thing with the environment and environmentalists, and I like to think I put the A-list into environmentalist, is that we're not saying don't do things, we're just saying do them less, moderate our behaviour, because we can get away with doing things as long as we do them in moderation.
You talked about the A-list, the A-list. Do you think, although you obviously thrive on it for your career, do you think that we are too obsessed by celebrity?
I think we are a bit. What I don't like is these spotted columns in papers, and you never see that on the news, do you? You never see Hugh Edwards say, former Big Brother winner Kate Laura has been spotted coming out of Hamley's toy shop, talking loudly on a mobile phone and laughing. It's not news.
Are you happy in 2009?
More than ever.
That was a quick question, just because we need to fit something in right at the end. Can you do an impression of me? I'm cheating now, but I'd love to hear you try and do me.
I could try, but I don't know if I'd be able to get to it. It's a very interesting voice, I think, you have.
Who do you think I sound most like?
There's a hint of David Baddiel, and then there's a sort of a wistful quality as well, perhaps almost of a... It's not quite as wistful as Jim Moyer of the Creeps, but there's a hint of something rather autumnal and something, a leaf being blown on a breeze by a strange beast with a large mouth.
I'm not sure that sounds like a very good thing.
No, that's a very nice thing.
Is it?
Yeah, warm, romantic, and trendy at the same time.
Very good to see you.
You too.